Hello and welcome to this tutorial of the Study of Language by George Jules, 6th edition. Today we'll learn about the syntaxes in the chapter 8. What is a syntaxis? Syntaxis is knowing that a language includes the ability to construct phrases and sentence out of morphemes and words. The part of the grammar that represents a speaker's knowledge of this structure and their information is called syntaxis. In other words, syntaxis is the study of the sentence patterns of the language. Syntaxis rule. When we set out to provide an analysis of the syntaxis of the language, we try to adhere to the all and only to criterion. This means that our analysis must account for all the grammatical correct phrases and sentences, and only those grammatically correct phrases and the sentence in whatever language we are analyzing. In other words, if we write rules for to create a well-formed structure, we have to check those rules when we apply logically. One also led to ill-formed structure. For example, we might say informally that in English we put a preposition near before London to form a prepositional phrase, near London. This will describe a large number of phrases, but thus is described all and only the prepositional phrases in English. Note that if we use this as a rule or grammar to create a structural involving a preposition noun, we will end up producing phrases like near tree or with dog. This does seem to be well-formed English structural, so we mark them with an asterisk indicating that they are ungrammatical. We clearly need to be more careful in informing that rule that underline the structural or prepositional phrases in English. We might have more success with a rule starting to be put a preposition before a noun phrase, not just a noun. A generative grammar. When we have an effective rule such as prepositional phrases in English consists of prepositional followed by noun phrases. We can imagine an extremely large noun on English phrases that could be produced using this rule. In fact, the potential number of the underlying unlimited. In fact, the potential number is unlimited. This reflects another goal of syntactics and analysis, which is to have a small infinitive set of rules that will be capable of producing a large and potential infinitive. Number of well-formed structure. This small and infinitive set of rules is sometimes describing a generative grammar because it can be used to generate or produce sentence structure and not just to describe them. Our institution tells us that there must be more underlying similarity involving these two superficial different sentences. Charlie broke the window, and the window was broken by Charlie. In traditional grammar, the first is called an active sentence, focusing on what Charlie did, and the second is a passive sentence, focuses on the window and what happened to it. The distinction between them is a difference in their surface structure. That is the different syntactic form they have has individual English sentence. However, this is a superficial difference in form disguises the fact that the two sentences are closely related, even identical or at less superficial level. This underlying level where the basic component nouns, phrases plus verb plus noun phrases shared by the two sentences can be represented is called their deep structure. The deep structure is an abstracted level of the structural organization in which all the elements determining structural interpretation are represented. That same deep structure can be the source of many other surfaces, structures such as it was Charlie who broke the window, and was the window broken by Charlie? In short, the grammar must be capable of showing how the single underlying abstract representation can become different software structure. A structural ambiguity. Let's say we have to distinctive structural. One express the idea that Annie had an umbrella and she bumped into a man with it. The other express the idea that Annie bumped into a man and the man happened to be carrying an umbrella. Now, these two different versions of events can actually be expressed in the same surfaces. A structural form. Annie bumped into the man with an umbrella. This sentence provides an example of structural ambiguity. It has two distinct underlying interpretations that have to be represented differently in this structure. Note that this is not the type of ambiguity we experience in hearing. The child has brought another foot, which illustrates lexical ambiguity mainly because the word food has more than one meaning. Syntactic analysis. In syntactic analysis, we some conventional abbreviation for part of the speech identified in this chapter 7. Example are am equal noun, art equal article, at equal adjective, and be equal verb. We use abbreviation for phrases such as MP, noun phrases, and BP, verb phrases. In English, the verb phrases consist of the verb plus the following noun phrases. We can take the simple sentence in the table 7.3, page 98, and label the constituent using this categorized as a figure 80.1. MP, jump, BP, B, saw, MP, the dog, the big dog. Figure 8.1. Present a static analysis and a single sentence. We would like to be able to represent the same syntactic information in more dynamic form. One way of presenting the concept consists of is with an arrow, also interpreted as a right half. The following rules state that noun phrases MP such a dog consists of the writings and the article da and the noun dog. This simple formula is underlying a structure of millions of different English phrases. Noun phrases, arrow, article, name. However, it's not the only form a noun phrase can take. We want to be able to include another constitution, adjective, in the rule so that it's good for not only phrases like the dog, but also the big dog. This constituent is the optional in a noun phrase. So, we use round bracket to indicate that adjective is an optional constituent in show here. Name, noun phrases, arrow, article, bracket, adjective, noun. Another common symbol in the form of curly bracket. This indicates that only one of the elements included within the curly bracket must be selected. We have already seen in the figure 7.3 on the page 96 that a noun phrase can also contain a pronoun, it, or a proper noun, John. Using the abbreviation PRO for pronouns and NPN for proper noun, we can write these separate rows as shown on the left, but it's most succinct to write one row on the right using the curly bracket. Phrasal structural row. When we had started to create a set of syntactic rows called the phrasal structural row, the name suggests these rows state the structure of the phrase of a specific type, which consists on one or more constituted in a particular order. The first row in the following set of simple and necessarily incomplete phrasal structural rows capture a very general rural English sentence structure. A sentence as provided has a noun phrases MP and the verb phrase P. The second rule states that a noun phrasal writer has a there, an article plus an optional adjective plus or a noun or a pronouns or an proper nouns. And the third rule, a verb phrasal writer has an verb plus a noun phrases. Subject, arrow, noun phrases, verb phrases, noun phrases, arrow, article, adjective, noun, pronoun, proper noun. Verb phrases, arrow, verb, noun phrases. Lexical rule. Phrasal structural rule generate structure in order to turn those structures into recognizable English. We also need two lexical rules that specify which word can be used when we rewrite constitute such a proper noun. The first rule in the following set states that a proper noun rewritten has John or Mary. It's a very small word. Proper noun, John, Mary. Noun, girl, dog, boy. Verb, followed, helped, saw. Article, a, the. Adjective, big, small. It, proper noun, it, you. Diagrams. One of the best ways to create a visual presentation is underlying syntactic structure and through tree diagrams. We can use the same instruction early to the level part of the tree when we create a presentation in how each part fits into the underlying structure of the phrase. The formation of the phrasal structural rule on the left can be expressed in the diagram on the right, has a figure 8.2. Noun phrases, arrow, article noun, noun phrases, article a, noun, dog, a dog. We can use a similar tree diagram to represent the more complex structure on our English verb phrases. As such in the figure 8.3. Once again, this style of diagram provides a way of representing the hierarchy natural underlying structure. In this 297 hierarchy, the verb phrase is higher than the content the verb, and the noun phrases is higher than the content the article and the noun. Verb phrases, verb followed, noun phrases, article, the, noun, boy. Okay, thank you. That is all for this tutorial about the syntaxis of the Study of Language by Churchill 6 editions. I hope you enjoy and learn a lot of this rule about the language that is very important to learn. Thank you and see you later.